this, all right. Good. All right, you guys can see screen? Yeah, cool, perfect. All right. Okay, well, turn my phones over. Let's get started. Like I said, we have a couple of technical glitches, but we're gonna go ahead and get started and everybody's gonna catch the replay. Where are we? I have so many. Every time I have all these screens up, I feel like I'm in a command center. All right, well, today's Thursday. It is huddle day. I'm always excited about these topics. But I especially like this topic, although it is I know it's a challenge for some. It feels like a headache. It doesn't necessarily always seem to be very profitable, but social media marketing is here with us for now, and it's probably here to stay. And the sooner we can kind of embrace the resource that it provides for us to market our business and to grow our businesses, and really kind of just build systems around it. Honestly, just build systems around it so that you can literally set this marketing and forget it. You can. So the sooner we do that, the sooner we'll see results from our efforts. You guys know who I am, obviously, your experts group, team lead, I guess I should say. Just a weekly reminder to everyone as you grow your businesses, as you do business, that your team is here, your experts group team is here to service and support you through the university each week with coaching, through model mortgage experts for your financing need, through title experts for your closing needs, and of course, through transaction experts for your transaction coordination needs. You guys know where to find us when you're ready to close. We are just a little over a week away from our second home buyer virtual workshop. 3 steps to purchase a new home in 2023. For those of you, we do still have RSVPs coming in. Make sure that you push. Again, guys, this is a way to build your buyer pipeline with less than half of the stress of what it takes to put on a home buyer workshop. What we're talking about this month is marketing. And this is an opportunity for you to market. You're going to have some of your buyers who are absolutely ready. I've done home buyer workshops where the same person has been on multiple times before they were actually ready to go ahead and take the next step. And for this, it doesn't hurt you guys. All you're doing is promoting. And so we're just a week away. If you have any that did not attend last time, or maybe they attended and you feel like they need to hear it again, send them a reminder, send it to them to have them invite other people. But again, build your buyer pipeline. You guys are seeing what's going on with the interest rates. The interest rates are dropping because of what happened with some of the bank closures. Here's the thing. You guys know this. Make sure you promote this in your conversation. You cannot time the market per se. Can't really time the market. For your buyers, it's going to be what's the best time for them, right? So for those who are already, look at this, for example, for those who got started last month, we'll just use last month, for example, with interest rates now dropping in response to the bank failures, or at the very least, not going to go up any further right now. They're benefiting from that because they didn't try and time the market. They got in motion, and guess what? The market met them. So we have just a week away. Make sure that you send out you post your promotions, that you send it out. I was talking with Marceline last month. I think she had the most, if not, she was one of the top 3 registrants. And she said she DM'd people. She DM'd people her registration graphic. And so text it. It doesn't have to just be on social media. Text it, DM to get it out. Remember, as a co-host, if you didn't sign up for this one as a co-host, you get what we're talking about today, setting up a social media calendar, right? You get with co-hosting what we're talking about in action. The content, the graphics, the calendar, why you're the cadence of the posts, the reason why the posts are set up the way that they are. It's a content calendar. It's all a content calendar. They weren't just thrown the captions and the graphics that are placed on that calendar that you guys have received. It didn't just go in order. It was intentional. It was intentional for there to be some conversation about the market. There was some conversation about, there was some quotes, right? For inspiration, education, right? You have education. And so you see a mix. And so this content calendar is in action. And so again, if you guys did not participate this month and you want to get into it, then this is, like I said, this is the content calendar in action. So let's get into this discussion, creating a content calendar to grow your business. Now, I know for a fact there are mixed feelings about online marketing, social media marketing. I know there are. I'm right there with you. Some days I'm on it heavy. Some days I'm like, oh my God, it's too much confusion. But what I do know for sure is it is a marketing venue, it's a marketing asset that you cannot ignore, Now, for those of you who enjoy social media, who enjoy creating content, Jessica is pretty, I think Jay likes, she likes creating content. Others don't like creating content. There are ways for both sides of the coins to be successful as it relates to social media marketing. But one of the things that I want to impress upon you before you make a definitive or hard-line decision about social media marketing is to know that ignoring online marketing is like opening a business but not telling anyone. Online marketing is giving small businesses, individuals, the opportunity to market in a way that businesses were marketing years ago and was spending a ton of money, right? $1 million for a commercial. I want you to look at your social media pages, guys, as your very own channel, literally, like how they call it a channel. Look at your social media, your Instagram page as your very own channel, your Facebook page as your very own channel, your YouTube as your very own channel, right? And use it as a way to build your business. Now, granted, some people may say, well, my people aren't on social media. Well, if they're not on social media, then maybe you don't put as much effort and energy into it, but you still got to use it. You still should have a presence, because when people look you up, guess where they're going? They're going to social. They want to see who you are. They want to see what you're doing. Your social media becomes your online resume, and it can speak for you in ways that you can't even speak for yourself before you get in front of the client. All right. So I want you to look at it that way. If my page was to speak for me before I got in front of the client, what would I want to say? And so that's how you can look at your social media page, right? To continue winning the internet marketing game, your content has to be more than just brilliant. It has to give the people consuming the content the ability to become a better version of themselves. What does a person get when they come to your page, right? Are they inspired to buy or sell? Did they get a motivational quote? There should be a level of growth when they visit your page. Did they learn more about the home buying process, the selling process? What did they learn? How were they able to become a better version of themselves by visiting your page, right? People are drawn to things that grow them. So if you said, if my page was an opportunity for someone to grow, how much would they grow from visiting my page? How much would they grow? And for those, when someone is growing from visiting your page, they'll continue to come to your page. I promise you. And it could be the smallest thing. It could be the very smallest thing that people will continue to go to your page just for that little small thing. All right. Now, getting into the content, one of the concepts that you are going to hear, and for those of you who are deep into content marketing and developing content, they'll ask you, what are your content pillars? So this is how you get into having direction, and you say, I don't even know where to start. Say, I don't know where to start. Well, this is where you start. This is where you say, what topics will your content always cover, right? So you've seen pages where maybe they're like a branding coach, and the only thing they talk about on their page is branding, right? They have a few other things that they may speak about, but for the most part, they talk about branding. You as real estate professionals, yeah, you're always going to talk about real estate, but is there a way for you to niche that down a bit, right? Do you service a particular client type? Do you service a particular area, right? What's special about the way you do business? Because your content pillars can be niched down to that, so that you're not just talking about real estate in general, right? And they get information that they can get anywhere else, right? Maybe your content pillars are always about interior design. I personally like interior design. So maybe if I was on my real estate page to get people love real estate. That's just what it is. That's why you have HGTV, Flip This House, all, Meet Married to Real Estate, all these different shows, because people are just kind of generally curious and they enjoy real estate. So as a realtor, maybe my content pillars would be interior design, right? So I'm always talking about old pillows, or this is for the girls, of course. I mean, some of the guys might be into this. Maybe I'm talking about lighting, or maybe when I go to I know me for sure, I like to go to hotels because I like to see the interior design that they do in the hotels. And so maybe a lot of your content is about interior design, but of course you're including in there, if you're looking to buy or sell, I'm your person, right? So that can be a content pillar. What if your content is always about, maybe it's about luxury, just in luxury real estate in general, right? Or maybe it's first time home buyers, or maybe it's, if you guys have been here in West Palm, Mr. Townhouse, I think his name is. You guys seen Mr. Townhouse, Mr. Townhome or something? Of course, he sells more than townhomes, but he's niched his name to be Mr. Townhome. So of course, he's always talking about townhomes. So to start with your social media calendar content, what will be your content pillars? And this can change. Don't feel like, oh my God, if I start off talking about interior design, I have to stay there. No, you don't have to stay there. You're going to do what's natural to you. What do you enjoy about real estate? If you focus on what you enjoy, then you're less likely to burn out and lose things to talk about. All right. So what are your content pillars? One of the best ways to sabotage your content is to not tie it to your goals. Know why you're creating content. So this is important, guys. You don't post content just to post. You're posting for a purpose. That purpose is, for those of you that, for example, co-hosted a home buyer workshop. Oh, by the way, join my workshop on March 25th. Every piece of content that you post should have a purpose, or I would at least tell you 90% of it. Again, I don't want to take the fun out of it, but this is marketing. If you were hiring someone, look at it this way. If you hired a marketing firm and they were supposed to do your social media and they posted a picture of a teddy bear, now you're paying them per post. You would say, what is the purpose of this teddy bear, right? Are we tying this in some way, shape, or form to buying or selling real estate with me? If not, what is the purpose of this, right? Because what's going to end up happening is, not only is it not effective, it's crowding your space. You may turn people off and they're like, why is he posting teddy bears? Like, I follow him for real estate, right? So be sure to make sure that you have a goal. Here's another point. When, say, for example, we call them social media influencers, or people that just really use their social media in a very powerful way to make sales in their business, their photo shoot is tied to that. All their content is tied to that. They call it a launch. They call it a launch. They call it a launch. They're saying, this is the goal of this campaign for this month. So everything that's tied to this campaign is going to be related to that particular goal. What outside of, again, if you regularly co-host the homebuyer workshop, that should be a content pillar that's tied into your posting. Working with you. to buy or sell. That should always be the goal. What if you're so intentional about it, you realize you're focusing on the seasons, right? So you do a photo shoot and it's related to the summer, right? And so you do a talk about maybe you work with the buyers or that come in for a season, right? For those of us here in South Florida, you have a lot of buyers that are out of New York and those colder areas, and they come in for season. What is the goal? So that will support, this content will support that goal. Okay. One of the best ways to sabotage your content is to not tie it to goals. What if the goal is just for them to click the link in your bio for a seller consultation, maybe a seller net sheet? But there should always be some type of, there's a call to action or there's a goal of your content that weaves into the content that you're posting, right? So what is the goal of our content? What is our content filter? What are the things that we're going to talk about in our content? Now, this is a sample content mix. 80% of the content is to educate your viewers, educate them about your industry. Educate them about your industry. Educate them about what's going on in the market. This SVB bank failure, how does that affect them at all? Educate them. A lot of people are curious, like, well, what does this mean about, what does this mean for me as a seller? What does this mean for me as a buyer? That's the way to educate them. And 80% of your content is tied to that, right? 10% of your content could be tied to entertaining or personal. Now, the reason why I say entertaining or personal is because everybody doesn't want to get in front of a camera and dance. And I don't blame you for that. Like everybody doesn't want to TikTok, as my husband say, TikTok. Everybody doesn't want to do that. And you don't have to do that. But you do want to some extent show your personal side. And again, it doesn't even have to be, your kids. You don't have to go that personal. But who are they working with? Who is the person? Who is the individual that they're going to work with? That connects. If you look at your, what do you call it, your insight, that connects people oftentimes more than the education. See, the education is what brings them in. That gives you credibility. That personal and that entertaining, that personality side is what gives you connection and likability. Right? Education gives you credibility. Entertainment and the personal side gives you the contact, right? Gives you the likability. That gives you the connection, right? Gives you the connection, human connection. And then the inspire, what's inspire? That's quotes, right? Those are the quotes we see in our content calendar for this month. Everybody wants to feel enlightened. Most people do, right? If you say, real estate is still the best method to build wealth, we can help. All wealth, 99% of the wealth in the US is built on real estate. You can do this. Those types of things, people are drawn to inspire, right? And so your content, again, the mix doesn't have to be, I would not necessarily be all just educational. I wouldn't all just be personal, because at the end of the day, you need to, if your personal is tied to a sale, then fine. But what is the goal? What is the goal of the content, right? And these are just ways for you to put that out there, but don't forget the goal. The goal is work with me to buy or sell. Okay. Now, content types. This is important because we know if you've been on social media for just a minute, 10 minutes in the last year or so, for sure, the different content types that are going to get more reach than others. Graphics, as we know, they tend to get the least amount of reach. What does that mean? They tend to not, they call the algorithm, they tend to not be as promoted as others. What you'll end up getting is the people that frequent your page a lot, those graphics will go before them. But those who don't frequent your page, they generally won't see them as much. Video and reel, we know, Instagram, Facebook, they're pushing it to the top. You put a reel out, it's going to go to people who don't even follow you, right? So to the extent possible, you want to do video and reel. Now here's a hack, and somebody's going to come on and say, well, Instagram's kind of figured that out. You can take a graphic and make it a reel. If you don't want to get on camera yet, you're not ready for that yet, you can take a video, you can take a graphic and make it a video or make it a reel. As long as it has that motion going, Instagram is going to see it as a reel, and it's going to get it in front of people. Again, you may not get the same reach, or you may not get the same engagement, but it'll at least not be a static graphic, right? That's just sitting on your page. And then going live is huge. Don't be dissuaded or discouraged because there's, you don't have 500 people on your live. Like, you realize, like, you got to have like 5 million people to get 500 people on your live, because that's just not what it is. Like, most people they follow you and they're not on there anymore, but the lives are also going to give you reach. Vanya jumped on and did a live a couple weeks ago talking about the interest rates. No, she talked about when we did the market cap, and we talked about how sales had declined, but what that would do for buyers and sellers. She jumped on immediately and did a live. I was impressed immediately. And this is what I tell you guys, as you learn each week, take it and make it content. She literally, as soon as we got off here, jumped on and did a live about the year-over-year market changes in sales in Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County, single-family townhomes, condos, etc., and how that affected prices and interest rates. Immediately jumped on as soon as we got off. So consider going live. Kat said I had a reel that just went crazy. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Had a reel that went crazy. And you'll be surprised. And it'll be the things that you think that you don't expect that'll just be everywhere, right? Stories. That's a hack. Using your stories, that's a hack. You know why? Because people are likely to see it. It's at the top of the page. You don't have to go into the page. Stories. One of my colleagues, he's out of California. If you go on his page is pretty static. He actually has tiles that create like a single graphic or a banner of graphics. But if you look at his stories, oh my God, he has like 50 stories. It's just like a bunch of dots across the top of his, across the top of the page when you go on his stories. So stories are a way to also get it in front of people very well. So even if you have a graphic, if you have a graphic, a reel, you go live, send it to your stories, send it through the DM. But again, it's just ways to get that information out there. So there are 3 objectives for content marketing. We know: reach, engagement, conversion. Katia just said her engagement went crazy. She said she wanted to shut down the comments, but she didn't. You want people to engage with it. But make no mistake, even if you don't get comments, people are seeing it. If I were to tell you how many posts people come back and tell me about it, and they didn't comment on it, but when they saw me, they were like, oh, I saw you're such and such. I'm like, oh, all right. And then lastly, conversion. You want them to say, when I get ready to buy, when I get ready to sell, or just reach out to you, it will convert them. So remember, we're not posting just to post. Remember the teddy bear example. Whenever you post something, if it's not to educate, something, again, it can be personal, but don't do too much personal. When next time you guys go to post, you're gonna think about teddy bear, like, why am I posting this? Is this going to point my viewer to work with me to buy or sell, right? To educate them, to make a personal connection with me or inspire them. Again, not to say don't put it up there, but just let's be intentional about our marketing spend. And then define key metrics for each. How much engagement, how much reach are you getting? How much engagement are you getting? And then what's the conversion? Now, here's the deal. I want to say this before we move into the prompts. If you know your demographic does not spend a lot of time on social media, You don't have to spend so much time. You don't have to invest so much time on your social media. I'm going to tell you, do not neglect it. Don't forget it. But you need to go. We talked last week about identifying lead sources like a headhunter. Where are your people? Where are your people? Wherever your people are, that's where you need to be. But we're not neglecting social media because this is your channel. Look at this as your channel. They call it a social media channel. This is your commercial, right? And so even if you just put the base level of effort into this, don't forget it, because people definitely will come here to see about you. Okay. Now, here's the good part. Now that we understand the goal of content marketing on social media, now this is the next hurdle. Well, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? Like I'm not. So someone will say I'm not creative. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Brainstorm a list of the top 50 questions that your customers ask on a regular basis and create a post addressing each one. When you do your your listing appointments, what questions do you get? Write them down. That's a post. What questions do your buyers ask you? That's a post. And don't answer too many questions. Answer just one part of it in each post, right? So 50 questions will get you through. It'll get you through, depending upon how you post. You should post, I would say, at least three, four times a week. But depending upon how many times you post, that'll get you pretty far. And again, remember, like we talked about last week, once you post these things, you can just start all over again once you get through later in the year, right? They won't even see it. So that's the first action item. 50 questions that your customers ask on a regular basis, and create an answer. Create a post addressing each one. All right, 50 questions. Now, for those of you who are like, okay, God, that's going to take me time to figure out the 50 questions. Elvia posted in the chat. For those of you just coming in, we'll drop this in again. 99 content ideas. 99 content ideas. Now, obviously, you're going to weave this into your, some of this is specific to business. Some of this is what we're going to put on the personal side. But here is 99 content ideas for you to post to create your social media calendar. Now, again, what is the goal? As it relates to the calendar, again, if you're a co-host, you want your posts to, as you get up to the workshop day, they should be more pointed to by counting down to that day. What are you trying to get to? Make sure your posts count down to that. If you have an event, say you're having a community event for your clients, that's the goal for that month of your content. Right? Here's some of the content ideas we have on here. Share your favorite time of year and why. Share what your first job taught you. Ask your audience for their top tips on a topic. How do you define success? Right? Give your audience your top tips for staying productive. What does your morning look like? Do an FAQ about your business. Right? Something you wish you were taught at school. How to effectively manage your time as a business owner. These are just some prompts. So this is just a screenshot, but if you guys download, if you click on that link, there's 99 prompts for you. And all of a sudden, you're going to become a social media star, social media influencer. I'm serious. You're laughing. So with the content coming around the bend, why y'all laughing? I'm serious. Guys, when people see you on social media, all of a sudden, when they see you in person, it's like you're a celebrity. And you're like, I just posted a couple things. They're real. But the more they see you, you just become more and more like celebrity to them. So yeah. Focus on the core problem your business solves and put out lots of content, right? When they see like, oh, I know you. Put out lots of content and enthusiasm and ideas about how to solve that problem. I'm going to say that again. Focus on the core problem your business solves and put out lots of content and enthusiasm and ideas about how to solve that problem. I want to focus on, we know content. That's the information. Just educate the people, guys. Do it enthusiastically. Be excited about your business. Be excited. We're still closing. People are still selling. Be excited. Be excited. You tell them to be excited, right? And ideas about how to solve that problem. See, they think it's problems right now to buy and sell. No, you tell them, no, this is how this seller sold. This is how we got this buyer approved. This is how we dealt with this interest rate. And I'm like, oh, we're gonna work with him. We're gonna work with him, right? Because at the end of the day, they still want that solution. They want the solution. They've always wanted it. They just didn't know how to obtain it. But you're going to put the content out there, be enthusiastic about it with the ideas of how they are going to obtain the result that you know that they want, how they're going to solve the problem that they have. Guys, if you don't know the problems that your clientele has, you're not paying attention. If you don't know, if you can't rattle off the things they're saying they have a problem with, you're not paying attention. You're not being a student of your client and your business. So if right now today you're like, I don't know what they want, then this is a different prompt for you. This is a different prompt for you. That prompt for you is to focus on what problems does my clientele have. And as soon as you identify that, the thing that's going to happen is they're going to say, man, he's talking to me. She's talking to me. Who told her? The other buyer, the other seller, because their problems are all the same. Okay. All right. So focus on their problems, and there's your content right there. So lastly, content builds relationships. Relationships are built on trust. Trust drives revenue. I'm going to say that again, and we're going to talk about how that is reverse engineered. Content builds relationships. Relationships are built on trust, and trust drives revenue. Right? Content builds relationships. They see you. That's a relationship. Relationships are built on trust. As they keep seeing your content, they keep seeing your results. Now they trust you. Know, like, and trust. Know, like, and trust. You guys heard that before? Know, like, and trust. Relationships are built on trust, and trust builds revenue. When they trust you, they want to work with you because I see you all the time. What you said is true. Your education, your results, your personality, your energy. I want to work with you. And they'll refer people to work with you. Vanya has a question. If my focus is on building a database, what should be the priority? That is a very good question. If your focus is on building a database, your priority should, number one, be you definitely better have a click the link in my bio, right? You need to have a lead magnet. That's a very good question, Vanya. A lead magnet. What's my lead magnet? Lead magnet is maybe you do a ebook, 10 steps to find a home, 10 steps to sell your home, 10 steps to sell your home in a buyer's market, 10 steps to preparing your home for sale. What is the biggest, the biggest problem, the most general issue that would drive someone to be interested in your answer? Click the link in my bio for that handout. 5 steps to this. An ebook. In order for them to get the ebook, they're going to give their email address, their telephone number. That's your campaign. That is your focus for that month. That's a very, very good question. Her focus is on building a database. What should my priority be? So all your content is going to be what will make someone want to part with their email address and phone number. What will make them want to do that? Again, it's going to clearly be the answer to that problem. What will make them want to part with it is whatever has the answer to the problem that they're facing. So what is the problem that my ideal client is facing? So I know Vanya's in the medical industry, so I can use her as an example. So Vanya being in the medical industry, I may be having a conversation about financing for in the medical profession, for doctors, nurses, right? I may be having a conversation about if Vanya comes in contact with a lot of travel nurses, I may be having, my content might be around how to buy as a travel nurse, or renting versus buying as a travel nurse, right? Click the link in the bio for information, something along those lines. That may be a little narrow, but I know she's in the medical space. And so whatever your target clientele is, or, okay, and this came to mind just because I know Jay is in LA. Ways to furnish your home, or resources to furnish your home like the stars, but on a budget. And figure out a better way to say that. Right? So here's some resources. So you may say, oh, here's some like some online stores, not just Amazon, because Amazon might be one, but maybe there's some other online stores for nice home goods that don't break the bank. Right? Maybe I do one about, once it becomes spring, what are some ways to spruce up your home for spring? Click the link in the bio for a nice ebook. So it just depends on what's your thing. Who are you? What about DIY? Okay, so if you have someone that so do DIY as far as in your house, or DIY as far as buying a fixer-upper? I would just, whatever their target is, whatever their thought process is, just do that. So these are all very, very good questions. All right. Again, guys, remember, 50% of your, yes, fixer-upper staging. Same thing. Here are some ways to stage a property. One of the first things that come to mind for me about staging is people don't realize with the secret to staging, sometimes it's just decluttering. Get some of that stuff out of there. Nice fresh coat of paint, some plug-ins in the walls, couple pieces of furniture, but let the buyer see that home clear. So that's just a quick idea. That's just a quick idea. All right, guys, that's your content. So reminder, push, build that buyer database. Remember, for you guys that were on last month, conducting home buyer consultations like a pro, we are bringing Angelique back. You guys remember she did it in probably about 15 minutes. Well, this time we're going to do the hour. Remember I told you guys that her and I had did this presentation previous times before, and it's an hour presentation. It could actually be longer, but generally it's an hour. Last month we pushed it into about 15 minutes, but save the date on next Wednesday, the 22nd, from 12 to 1. We're going to go over that full presentation, conducting home buyer consultations like a pro. Remember, we talked about not showing 50 homes. We're showing 3, and we're making an offer that day, right? Because we would have had a conversation with the buyer that was so on point that they already knew the drill, right? They know the drill, and we know who we should work with and who we should not work with by virtue of having a very pointed and specific home buyer consultation strategy. Guys, everything that you all do should be systematic. Shouldn't just be haphazard, right? There's requirements for working with you, right? And so next week on Wednesday, we're going to talk about what are those requirements that you should have for working with you and how to execute them. All right. So that's next Wednesday. In closing, speak to your audience in their language about what's in their heart. Speak to your audience in their language about what's in their hearts. And that's your content. That's your content. What is your audience asking you? What do they call you and have questions about? That's your content. And respond to them. Prepare your content the same way you talk to them over the phone. All right. So speak to your audience in their language about what's in their heart. And there's your content calendar right there. Again, don't neglect, guys, to utilize this resource to build your business, right? All right. Happy Thursday. We did it.
Thank you. Enjoy your weekend.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Yeah,
This
of
is
course,
great.
Jackie, of
Thank
course.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Happy Thursday. Bye. Thank you.
Vanya, you always so full of energy. You're welcome, Leah.